All right. Well, I have a special guest for today's episode. On with me today is Coach Paul Christopher. Coach Paul has been a fitness professional in the Boca Raton area in Florida for over 20 years. He's a certified athletic trainer, a CSCS coach, as well as a personal trainer. He has a variety of experience and blends from a few different backgrounds, including orthopedic rehab, sports performance, and personal training. And he is the owner and founder of Gravity and Oxygen Fitness. So, Paul, thanks so much for joining me today.
Well, thank you so much for having me. I'm honored.
Yeah. So first, I'm kind of curious. I wanted to ask you about the name of your brand, your business, Gravity and Oxygen. Where did
That's
that
a
come
great
from? I'm just yeah, super curious.
Okay. So I started working here in Florida with a lot of beach volleyball players. That's my sport. I've been out to California many times, and I love it with a passion. So when I was starting a grassroots off-season beach volleyball conditioning program about 10, 15 years ago, I was doing something with all my friends and the top end athletes. A couple have been to the Olympics and they've been on the AVP. So I was trying to come up with the brand for this program. So if you think about it, if you broke exercise down into two divisions, we have strength training, we have cardiovascular. Well, what are the primal ingredients of each division? Well, we understand that gravity has never taken a vacation. It's the hardest working substance ever on earth, all right? Pretty hard working. So with that, it's the most implemental tool for strength training. Master your own body weight before you get to external loads, inanimate objects. Oxygen, all right, the presence of oxygen is the term aerobic. Aerobic means the presence of oxygen. So when it comes to cardiovascular base points, then we need the presence of oxygen aerobically to burn fat calories, to create the muscle pump. So I was like, all right, oxygen, gravity, oxygen, sounds kind of snazzy. So I named the program by that, made some shirts, some cool colors. And my friends were like, you know what? That sounds pretty cool. You've got something going on there. They started getting the shirts. And when I decided to open up this facility in 2015 with my then business partner, he's like, listen, I love the brand. Let's run with it. So, it's not your typical like, energized fitness or self-eponymous titles. I figured let's work. I'm a science nerd. Let's work with a scientific name, Gravity and Oxygen, and it's stuck. And it's been a really strong brand. And I've had a great time doing it since. So.
Cool. It's always cool hearing stories with other business owners. Just because that's a struggle sometimes, right? Just like, what's my brand? Is it my name? Is it something that, whatever. So really cool and makes total sense. So I'm also curious. So, after reading about your background too, and so much experience with volleyball in particular, and then kind of where you are now getting more into Spartan and DECA, which we're going to talk more about. But I'd love to hear kind of what brought you more into this world of obstacle course racing and fitness competitions and things like that.
Well, I think, Father Time is undefeated, right, Mike? So if you think about I was trying to play competitive beach volleyball in Florida and trying to do these AP qualifiers, that I'm 5'10", I'm not a tree. And as I age, I won't be able to compete and hang as I once used to. So as we are owners of facilities, that we're still trying to find our own personal journey of exercise and find accomplishment and what that new accomplishment may be each year. So I actually have done some emceeing for events like for Red Bull. I've actually emceed Spartan races. And in my exposure to emceeing these events, I really found like, wow, this is pretty great comprehensive fitness. And then everything we do inside the walls of a gym is meant to be applied outside. You're meant to play, all right? So it should be, instead of working in, it's called working out. So use your workouts outside. So Spartan race is a great application in obstacle courses in general, Tough Mudders, OCRs, in a way of demonstrating and proving your worth of what you've done functionally. So I become a fan of them. This year, I actually just completed the Spartan trifecta for the first time. Absolutely loved it. And when Jared and Nancy had come by, I had run across my networking in regards to what they were doing, I thought it was perfect timing. And Joe DeSenio with Spartan Race is brilliant. He recognized, if we are closed for a pandemic and I can no longer host festivals around the country, how do I reach out with tentacles to the people who attend my events? Well, sign up for something that is a version of competitive fitness, an accomplishment task where people can quantify their own fitness. So when Jared came by and did a sample test run with our membership, I dug it. I said, sign us up. So we were actually one of the founding members of becoming an affiliate, and we've been now attached to them for a year and a half. And it's a great way to give you value-added program to your current membership, but also use it as a funnel to potentially bring in new people. Run special programs where you can prepare and train for that, charge for that, and then also have an event in your facility where you're once again only increasing your culture and invite all types of people into your event. So as soon as I recognized it and came across it, I felt like this is something we want to be part of.
Yeah, and a lot of the same things were kind of going through our heads when we signed up to be an affiliate, and we're excited. I want to get more into the DECA specific. We're hosting our first event next weekend. Really excited about that. And one of the big things that kind of drew me to it, I've been doing my first Spartan race. I think was in 2015, maybe in 2013. I can't remember. It's been a long time doing the Spartan races, and have loved that side of it, and have trained a ton of clients who same thing. They love it. They do, trifectas every year, and it just builds from there. But I have this whole other side of clientele that really want nothing to do with it. And maybe it's just the fear factor. They don't know, and it just scares them a little bit. They see, if you're just totally new to it, it's intimidating. Absolutely. But I love the idea of DECA where it was more about you, right? It's more about you just setting that baseline. It is for many fitness levels. It's not for just the crazy. Yes, there's those guys out there and women out there that when I see how the times they're putting up, it's insane. But there's also people just getting through this at their own pace, and just getting a number, right? Getting that baseline. And that's what drew me to this whole world was maybe this is just something other than, hey, we're going to come in and work out, which is great, right? But it just gives you a little bit more purpose, a little bit more meaning behind some of your training.
I completely agree. I would say that from direct source, from Jared and Yancey, their whole intention was not the 1% freaks who can do this in sub 15 minutes. It was the 99% of the population that needed something to quantify just a sense of progress. So in our gym alone, in the year and a half that we've had it, when we held our first event, we call our event here at the gym Decaween, because we do it on Halloween weekend. So we, encourage costumes and such. But 3 of the stories that I took home from our first event were not the people who finished in 16 and a half minutes. It was the woman who was in a rollover car accident in Spain, who 10 months later accomplished the task. It was my friend Capri, who is a breast cancer survivor and chose to do this as a sense of accomplishment. It was my friend Troy, who was in a boating accident in Miami 2 years before and had pelvic fractures and multiple surgeries and was able to accomplish it. Those are the stories we want to hear about, not someone who just shaved 13 seconds off their previous time and they're already the 1%. And that is the intention. And as long as you continue to convey that transparently to the potential constituency of people you want to attract to the gym and complete it, that is the whole target of DECA, and Yancey and Jared will tell you the same.
Yeah, so I think that's awesome. And for those that are a little bit more advanced and that are looking for those PRs and things like that, it also brings maybe I'm trying to think of the right word, just revitalizing, where maybe you've been doing a lot of OCR races and you're out there and you're beating yourself up with all the miles. This is a little different. It's still competitive and you're kind of satisfying that urge right there, but just in a different way. And I'm actually pretty excited for that personally, where I've been doing a ton of Spartan races, and I still will, but I'm changing my training up a little bit, and I'm going to do a few more DECA events and kind of go down that rabbit hole for a little bit and just see where it takes me.
Absolutely. And knowing that you're about to host your first event, maybe that's something in this conversation we can think of is perhaps when you are having them fill out the registration card, and of course their DECA card is where you're going to write their time when they're done, is perhaps like, what's your story? What's your why? What is your DECA why? I'm doing this because I had a baby 6 months ago, or I'm doing this because I want to feel like a high school athlete again. So if you can somehow get your whys in their story, then that is the future fodder and content substance for future marketing for your event. And I guarantee you might get twice the enrollment because people want to
awesome.
associate with their why.
Absolutely. That's great advice. We'll have to definitely add that to the scorecard there. So I want to talk about, you have an event coming up soon as well, and it looks pretty amazing. So tell us about this event in Florida that's coming up soon.
Okay. So there are multiple affiliates in the South Florida area that have aligned with DECA, and they've all held incredible events. And there's one in this area, at least one a month, at least in our area. So I figured, okay, well, we've held 2 events, and most people who are coming to our event are generally our members, and then a couple of, associating people in the area. But why host an event for your gym when you can host it for a city? Why do it for a city when you can do it for a region? So with me having experience working with some of the FAU athletics, a Division I university here, literally across the street from our facility, I figured let me use my connections with the athletic department and see by chance if they might dig the idea of hosting something on their property, whether it be their track field or their football field. It's a beautiful stadium aesthetically. It's the only stadium in the country where you can see the ocean from the top. So we figured let's maximize that opportunity. So through 2 phone calls, I was able to get in touch with the athletic director of FAU. And they said, you know what, we've been looking for some unique ideas and programs to host on campus. We love this. Let's do it. So from there, I was like, all right, it's on. So we decided to host South Florida DECA Fest. So we are inviting everyone from Miami to Jacksonville and beyond. And we are ready now, still with 9 days to go before the event, have over 200 entries, 7 states represented in 148 cities. How about that?
It's awesome.
So you don't know what you have until you put the feelers into the universe. And now we may have created a potential monster on our hands. So we decided, instead of just doing strong and mile, hey, as DECA had their national double DECA challenge, let's do double DECA as a team on the football field. And let's throw in the mile run. So what did the dynamic look like? Okay, teams of 4, double the prescription. You strategize how you want to tackle all the repetitions and the distance. And then you as a 4, all 4 of you have to run the 10th of a mile together around the cone perimeter. So basically, if you think of the 10 zones, it's going to encompass 70 yards of our field. All right. So we'll have a registration tent. We're going to have an athlete's lounge. At both events, we've had a lounge where we create a tented area. We bring literally my patio furniture from my backyard, and we have cabanas and lounge chairs and high tops, the whole 9. We're having a DJ. We'll have probably 35 to 40 teams doing double DECA. And we have over 100 combined miles and strongs. So we're doing this. The teams will go out. We're having 6 lanes of the event, 6 lanes. We've never done more than 3. So we're going to go football field, 6 lanes of equipment. So we're borrowing from our neighbors as well, the tanks, the med balls, the boxes, the whole 9. And we're making this an event. We have vendors, the DJ, we'll have an MC. So we're truly making this an epic event in this region. And who knows what can come of it. It's basically spaghetti principle. Throw something on the wall, see what sticks. Take our observations of the SWOT analysis of the event and maybe make it bigger and badass next year. And we unfortunately decided to schedule it accidentally on the same weekend as Austin DECA Fit. So Jared and Yancy will be in Texas, whereas if I had done my true homework, we probably would have scheduled a different weekend, because also here in South Florida is Wadapalooza, a very big CrossFit competition. So we probably would have had more of a CrossFit presence if we had just done a week later. So we know our odds and ends are ready before hosting the event. But as of right now, over 200 entrants. And as people mostly sign up closer to the event, we're looking at 250 by next Saturday. So we have to make sure we have all of our volunteers in check, our logistics, our operations, registration, refreshments, the whole 9, to truly make the experience. There's workouts, Mike, and then there's experiences. And we pride ourselves on giving just that, an experience. So we'll let you know. And I'm going to send you also our promo video. Some people may have seen it already, but I think when they see the video and get the visual of what's going on, I think we've created a really cool, unique monster.
Yeah, and I'll definitely share that and put it in the show notes for this episode. From what I've seen, it just looks, obviously a gorgeous atmosphere, and then one hell of an event. So that's going to be amazing. And absolutely, I can see, almost maybe a good thing there's a few other events going on, because it's a nice first time, right? First getting 1,000 people, and then it's like, holy crap. How do we we do this? So maybe a blessing it's still a big turnout right there, which is awesome. And I can only imagine, I'm going to be watching closely, seeing, hey, can we do something in Southern California, something similar, and I'm sure other places would love to see something like this.
Thank you. And I'm more than willing to help. And actually, you talking about, be careful what you wish for as far as the growth. We have had our staff and members go to other experiences where perhaps the start times weren't necessarily timely like is scheduled. And in that, you're losing some of the customer experience. So with that, we're not necessarily focusing on profits and revenue. We're focusing on running it right, not in a rush. So our first 2 events, we've hit home runs with doing it. So we figured, okay, we can tackle something next level. But once again, it's probably a good thing with where we're at with the enrollment, knowing that we can do this over the course of 6 or 7 hours without being overly swamped and sacrificing the customer experience. True point.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about training. So I think more and more people have either done a DECA or thinking about it. Maybe something similar to me, where I've done a ton of OCR competitions. This is a little bit new. Since you've done both, right? What are maybe some key points or key differences, or just some things to consider if you're kind of just always have done traditional OCR training. Now you're looking to take on something like this and you want to be fairly competitive. What are some things that you might want to consider?
Okay, I think the first thing to consider is your environment of what you're experiencing with OCR or DECA. So OCR is you're going to get dirty. It is crawling under barbed wire. It is monkey hangs. It is getting in swamps. I was in a swamp in Central Florida for 2.5 miles 3 weeks ago, and
Heard
so
about
you
that
are
one.
expected to get muddy and dirty. You're throwing javelins. There's no javelins in DECA, but there are Atlas stone pickups in Spartan Race and other things like that. So certainly as you begin to experience resistance with doing farmer carries with 60-pound dumbbells and lifting a 60-pound ball over your shoulder and pushing a weighted tank, you're not necessarily as resistive feel in OCR other than your body weight and doing hang moves. So I do think developing some force production through some strength training would be a good primal thing to endure. If you think of the zones, we have the machines of the erg, the assault or echo bike, and the rower. So I think getting yourself acclimated with some kind of full body cardio equipment would be good as well. And I think understanding how to train for it is doing pairings. So if DECA is 10 zones, try pairings of the zones that will attack the same muscle groups. So try something where you're doing a barrel lunge into a box step over. Do something where you're doing a med ball pickup and then a farmer carry. So where you're going to go grip, grip, right? Think about your pairings, and in that you're going to prepare yourself. So I would say first and foremost, develop some strength training with resistance. Get acclimated with the cardio toys that maybe you're not used to if you're doing more outdoor OCR stuff. And then get into your metabolic conditioning, all right? So understand that if we define or divide the DECA course, the first 3 things are leg, 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 barrel lunges, row, boxes. So we're going to toast your legs, and then we're going to go grip, grip, grip. So we're going to go med ball sit-ups, ski erg, farmer carry. Then it goes compound, 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 bike, med ball, tank, barrel. So understand that your greatest energy output is going to be 7 through 10. And when you hit that bike at 7, just like you're running a marathon, mile 18 is the wall, the bike is the wall. You will know where your conditioning is at when you hit number 7, because you're going to hit yourself with a wild ride. When it comes to the tank, because the tank is on a torque motor, you can't run the tank. So expect there to be there for a couple of minutes. So energy sparing as you get to the compounds is something to think about if you're doing your first experience for DECA. So that's how I divide it. Other creativity would be do barrel, barrel, do 30 barrel lunges, 20 barrel burpees, combine those things. So that's just, you can be creative within the science of your training. So strength training, understand your cardio equipment, and then understand your conditioning to sustain all 10 zones.
I think that's golden right there. How you broke up the zones and basically explained this is what's going to get taxed, right? Like legs, grip, total body, being prepared for that. So I guess one thing maybe to get your opinion on is, let's say I have all the equipment. I'm at a gym that has it all, or at home, and I just have a 6 gym set up at home, whatever it might be. What are your thoughts on, do I just practice the event? Or do kind of what you say, do I maybe just pair up specific ones? Any thoughts on that type of training?
I think if you want to go in raw and just see what you have, what your time is, then go and do it. If the facility allows you to put out the equipment in your course 1 through 10, then go ahead and try it. Many times we commonly hear, oh, I need to get ready for that. I need to get prepared. Well, if you're already doing exercise in OCR, this is just another version to truly be CrossFit fit and handle anything that's unexpected given to you. So just go and do it, find your mark, and now you know where you are. We love to say in our facility, whether we're working with athletes or Mr. and Mrs. Johnson, how do you know where you've gone if you didn't know where you came from? So just go do it. Get your mark. Now you know where you are. And then based upon your organized, structured training, you can then begin to shave your time. And then maybe you trend towards that 1%. But you'll never know unless you have a data starting point.
I think that's perfect advice. Even, similar from a Spartan race, like just go do it, go have fun, get out there, and you failed all the grip obstacles, but you crushed it on the carries and the hill climbs, then we know, hey, you can keep doing your hill training. You're pretty good there already. Let's focus on this specific area and retest every once in a while. So I think that's perfect advice there. So I think I know what you're going to say for this next question, but let's say I have none of this stuff. Is this something I can train for without anything? Or maybe
Good question.
traditional
So,
gym stuff.
correct. So if you don't necessarily have med balls or barbells, so I certainly would say, oh man, that's a good question. Oof. So I know Jared and Nancy developed something called Deck of Fire, which is basically a 10 exercise zone of bodyweight exercises, everything from lateral bounds to burpees to like rolling crawls to hand release push-ups to air squats. So I think start with 10 movements of your body weight, do them unbroken. Try to give yourself a prescription of, okay, I'm going to do 30 reps of everything, or perhaps make a metabolic where I'm going to do 1 minute of everything and do that. Okay. Or do multiple rounds of that. So I think start with your body weight first. All right. Find challenging movements with your body weight. If you have a playground or park that has access, monkey bars, if you have, if you can do something like stand near a fence and do, pistol squat, something that's going to overload single limb, something that's going to overload the muscles, body weight based, then try that first. That's going to challenge the gravity and the oxygen, the cardio and the strength application. I would think in a pure vacuum, realistically, everyone's going to have access to something. Maybe they have a pair of dumbbells at home. Maybe they picked up a TRX, or maybe they have, a rock or stone in their yard. I would think in pandemic, people found ways creatively to have exercise tools at home. Maybe they have, if you look, maybe they bought a pair of resistance bands and they anchored them to their door in their garage, right? Just apply some kind of resistive load where you are going to fatigue and fail with lower repetitions if you have, external loads. But start with your body weight first. Do a medley of exercises, unbroken, and then you'll be able to measure your overall conditioning. So that's the idea. Come in with some kind of written plan, execute the plan, and then build upon your progressions of, okay, I'm going to do a second round of that plan, or I'm going to do more external loads. That's my suggestion. So
Yeah, no, that's perfect. And I think, like you said, it's, conditioning's conditioning and strength. If you are building upon those things, you're going to do pretty well at something like this. And then, like you were saying earlier, just exposure to maybe the bike or the erg. If you've never done it before, you start to get the rhythm and the technique and understand the specifics. But if you're just pretty well conditioned, you're going to do all right. And if you're fairly strong, you'll do pretty well there.
Yeah, if you've done an OCR, I'm pretty satisfied that your aerobic base is pretty there. So it's a matter of just getting a newfound exposure to the weight of things, and you'll be able to shave time. Someone that I know locally is an 18-time top 3 finisher for his age group for Spartan race. The moment he exposed himself to deck, he's like, this is my newfound venture. And now he's beginning to improve his times by understanding, mastering technique. And he'll be at our event.
So, cool.
Yeah.
Perfect. How about mistakes? Let's say it's going to be my first one. What's like the common mistake you see when people are attacking the course?
Going ham early. You're thinking, oh, I'm going to do that 500-meter row sub 2 minutes. And then you try to do that first box jump and your quads want to shave themselves off your femur. Okay. So that you'll find Mother Nature will tell you really quick who's boss. So once you've done your lunges, your barrel lunges, and then you go right to the leg. Are you doing strong or mile at your event, Mike?
We'll be doing strong.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
So by the time you get to number 3, those boxes, you may consider changing, like maybe doing the frontal plane and going like side to side step overs, as opposed to doing your jump or trying to jump down where you're essentially doing twice the load of gravity on your quads. I don't advise. Definitely, you'll find the farmer carries are trickier than you think. Most people have difficulty doing your 5 straight laps of 20 meters broken. So you'll find that erg grip is really tricky. I would say, actually, advice straight from Jared, that when you get to your zone 7 with the bike, sprint your first 10 cals, get them going, get the momentum on the display screen, get it going, and then you can essentially cruise if you feel like you're hitting a wall. But as long as you set the monitor, then at least you're already setting the momentum for better performance for your 25 cal, right? That's what I'd advise. Almost see your med ball sit-ups as a recovery exercise. So if there's one you want to go ham on, do that, okay? And then what I was going to say, so we have 8, 9. You have the med ball at 8. So once again, lifting an object heavy off of the ground is a lower body power move. Use your lower half. Don't think you're trying to pick this up with your lower back. Use your legs. Keep your ball straddling between your ankles. Keep it in proximity to you, not out away from you. Shorten your physics levers. And then as soon as you get up, chuck it over your shoulders. Chuck it. And then turn around and repeat. But use your lower half for the med balls. And then when it comes to the tank, put the TRX loops on your wrists. All right. Don't put them back in the bin of the tank, because every time you go get them, you're wasting 10 seconds to pick them back up and do it. Keep them on your wrists when you're pushing, and when you're ready to pull, they're already on your wrists. you will save at least 90 seconds by keeping them on your wrists. And then the burpees, all I can say is good luck. Just survive. That's it. Just breathe, survive, knock out your first 10, and just understand at the edge of uncomfortable, greatness happens. Do your second 10, lay on the floor, have a good day. Get your medal.
Yeah. Oh, that's perfect advice right there for all of those. I've already, just playing around with everything. You couldn't be more true on those box jumps where I really didn't think it was going to be a big deal. I was like, oh, no problem. I'm good at jumping. I'm up and over this. And then, yeah, you do one and your legs aren't there. They're like literally, they go away for a little while and then they start to come back. But that's dead on there. And then the farmer's carry too. Again, I saw it. I'm like, not that bad. This is almost going to be a rest for me. But at that midpoint, it's pretty hard. It's a struggle to get that distance unbroken, right? Not without putting it down. So those are two I know personally kind of caught me by surprise. Didn't think it was going to be that bad. I mean, a lot of them, like the bike, right? If you've been on a bike before, you're just going to get through it. But some of those ones that were like, all right, this is going to be where I excel. It's like, oh, nope, not quite.
Yeah, totally. And if, for example, if someone's 500-meter row time is, normally like, a minute 54, then it's okay if you're 205 or 210. It's okay, because at least you didn't go ham early and you're saving yourself, sparing some energy when you go to the box and things forward. If your 500-meter time is 154 and you decided to go 149 for the sake of going fast, well, you're going to find out once again the next zone and therefore they really toasted yourself. So
absolutely. Yeah. Well, this has been amazing, and the advice you've given, I think, is going to just be super helpful for myself, anyone else who's thinking about taking on one of these events this year. If anybody wants to learn a little bit more about you or the event you're doing, is there a good resource I can send them to?
I appreciate that. You can go to gravityandoxygen.com, AND in the middle. That's our website. My personal Instagram is @PCology. So my initials PC, OLOGY. Our Instagram for the business is @gravityandoxygen_fitness. And then we actually have a Instagram handle for the South Florida Deca Fest, and that is SOFLO, so SoFlo Deca Fest. You can find us there, and we have an event page, and you can go to active.com and find us. So many avenues. And once again, I'm honored for the opportunity to talk with you, Mike. And San Diego is one of my all-time favorite cities. So I plan that when I go out west, I'll be sure to stop by your incredible facility. So
yes, that'd be awesome. Well, I'm going to put everything you mentioned in the show notes for this episode, so people can just head on over there and just click on those links and check all the stuff out. So good luck to your event. I'm really excited to see how it turns out. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And as being invited to the events, please feel free to hit me up for any questions you may have. Okay. Remember the experience. So
absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. Have a great day. Good energy always wins.